One of my favorite modifications I've made to my original Switch was swapping out the shell into a really nice translucent blue color. I'm just a really big fan of blue, especially on all of my devices. Now, some viewers will know I've had a very long history with shell swapping Switches. I'm no stranger to taking apart Switches, and I know that for some people, it was probably how they originally found my channel years ago. By the way, if that's you, tell me in the comments. I'm always curious how many people actually have watched for that long. Now, I've been loving playing on my Switch 2, and while I find myself picking up my ROG Ally just a little more often, I've been loving playing through Donkey Kong Bonanza and the new Mario Kart World on it. Though I will say I was kind of bummed out to see no options at launch for new colors on the Switch 2, and they're not even trying on the new bundles at all right now. I mean, look at this, it's just Switch 2 with game, no discount or special colors or anything. So I was really looking forward to the day where companies would finally start making new shells for the Switch 2. Well, today's that day. Now, the translucent blue looks sick, but as tempting as it may be to swap it with the exact same color as my OLED Switch, I think it's time we try something a little different for this generation. Now, Extreme Rate, the company who's most famous for making shell swaps for these things, they sent me these ones, and there's a lot of different sets this time around. We have the full set that comes with everything, backplate, Joy-Cons, buttons, etc. A set just for Joy-Cons if you just want to change the controller color, and also a set that just comes with buttons, with an optional D-pad for your Joy-Cons if you're into that, and just the backplate if you're interested in that. I will be trying a few of these colors so you can see what they all look like later in the video, so stay tuned for that. But for now, this black translucent one is really catching my attention. Okay, here's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna swap out the black housing, because I think it looks the best, honestly, and then I'm gonna do the green controllers, just because I think I'm gonna go with these as the actual controllers. That sounds so nice, dude. Okay, great. All right, let's do that. All right, let's power this thing off and do this one more time for old time's sake. For now, we're gonna start with what I feel is the easiest thing to swap out without risking accidentally bricking your Switch 2, the backplate. Little fun fact, this is the same toolkit I've used in my very first video 5 years ago. Isn't that crazy? I'll link this one in the description if you want to pick it up. But in case anything, the kit comes with their own tools. I just prefer having a bit higher quality tools when working on delicate stuff like this. Oh, hey, don't forget to take out your game cards and your SD cards before doing all this. You don't want to end up with an expensive mistake. People always forget this part. Yes, I'm talking to you, Craig, in Washington. Oh, well, I don't have an SD card, so I mean, haven't managed to fill up the space on it yet. It's brand new, so if you do have an SD card, get rid of that though. So these are Y000 screws. These are always really soft. Well, at least they were really soft on the original Nintendo Switch 1. So always be careful taking these out. But these are gonna be the first ones we have to take care of. Then we switch back to Phillips 000 screws, 1 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and 2 on each side of the Joy-Cons. Now, here's something I bet you didn't know about the rails on the Switch 2. These things? Yeah, they're just stickers. You mean to tell me the Switch 2 wasn't a whole block of blue and red? Crazy. So we're gonna have to use Hida Gonzalez over here to help us peel those off. Don't worry, we're just gonna be replacing these stickers anyways. And then just repeat the same thing on the right side. By the way, look, we can actually see the magnets that hold your Joy-Cons in. And they're pretty dang strong. Jesus. Okay, we're done with the screws. Now we can take a wedge tool along the top of the screen and start separating the back. Before we open this up, one last check. Is your game cartridge empty? Is your SD card cartridge empty? Yes? Good? Okay. I was struggling a little bit with this. I found out later that uncapping the game cartridge lid makes this a lot easier to open. Hi. And there it is. This is the first, but probably not the last time the inside of my Switch will see the outside world. Isn't it so pretty? Dang. God, I'm excited for this. Okay, the next part is all about transferring over all the pieces from the old backplate to the new one. First up is the kickstand. 2 screws on each side is the only thing holding this thing into the backplate. Fun fact about this, despite the back of the Switch 2 looking all matte and shiny and everything, the kickstand is the only part of this that's actually made out of metal. Ew, why are they green? Ew. All right, next is transferring over the buttons. Now the kits that Extreme Rate sells do come with their own power and volume buttons, but I don't know, I just really like keeping the originals for these types of projects. Next is the card slot cover. It's just held in with 1 screw. And next is the LED cover, I think. I don't know, I couldn't get this thing out for some reason, so I just used the one that came with the kit. Now for the stickers and thermal pads. Now, we can't reuse the ones of the old backplate because they'd be all gross and sticky and likely fall apart. But no worries, because the kit comes with its own replacement stickers and all that too. These are heat pads that help protect areas that'll be in contact with areas with a lot of heat. This is really easy. You just gotta copy exactly what your old backplate has. There's no possible way you can mess this up. Ooh, that looks bad. Okay, wait, maybe it's like a credit card or something I could... Well, you know, how bad do we really need this sticker? So, I mean, like that's not really even necessary. Oh my god. Apparently we need it pretty bad. I'm just gonna put that right back. Damn. Damn. Well, you know what? You can't even tell that much from the... Well, you can... Well... What if I... Hold on. Crap. Okay, you know what? That'll be a little secret. It's okay. No one needs to know this. Next part here is a kickstand. There's one screw on each side of the inside of the hinges, and once you undo those, you just kind of have to pull on them to get them off. It takes a bit of force, I won't lie, but don't worry about breaking these. We're replacing them anyways. Check it out. Boneless switch. And lastly, these stupid things don't come installed with like rubber grits from the bottom, so we gotta install them ourselves. Although it is a nice touch that they made them match with the color of the shell that you're installing. Okay, it's ready. Awesome. Now to start closing it all up. I suggest starting from the bottom of the switch first and then clipping it on the top. It's much easier that way. Now to screw everything back in. And make sure that everything still works. All right, and that's it. We're done. Aside from that awful sticker, I think it looks really nice. This is exactly what I envisioned in my head. I assume this isn't a problem with opaque shells since you're not seeing what's going on inside. Okay, it's the next day here. I had to take a break like mentally from disassembling all this stuff. I really didn't like the sticker there, and apparently this is just what happens with all of these stickers since they're made to protect from heat. I ended up going back off camera and using some Goo Gone to wipe the sticker off. I do not recommend doing this. I have no idea if it'll mess with the thermals of the switch, but I'm picky and I'm willing to live with that risk. I think it looks much better now. I'm happy with this. Okay, next, the Joy-Cons. I wanted to practice on a white pair first. It's a bit easier to see everything and whatnot. Then I can try again on the clear ones that I want to do. Oh, and of course, I had to transfer over my serial number from the old backplate. I just used a bit of heat and I was able to transfer it just fine. It's a little crooked, but you know what? It works. It works, why not? There, looks pretty good. Now, when it comes to the middle parts, as cool as it may look, you might not want to keep them exposed like this. The kit does come with replacement stickers that'll match the color of the switch that you're using, but I think we can do better. These are called switch swatches. They're custom 3D printed strips that can slot right on the inside of your switch too for just a little extra splash of color. You can use double-sided tape if you're nervous, but they've been working just fine with me without them. I've been making this with Bambula's P2S printer. This is their newest printer I've been using for prints when I don't want to worry about extrusion calibrations and all that. It takes care of all of that for me. No, seriously, check this out. This is so cool. So you can print out custom designs on the inside of your switch, like these Splatoon ones, or maybe some of these Mario ones. And you just drop them in, maybe add some double-sided tape if you want, and that's it. And they're not just for your rails either. You can put them on your controller grips too, since I know a lot of people use those. I ended up doing the swap on my girlfriend's Switch 2 off camera since she really wanted her Switch 2 to be pink. I think it's really cute. By the way, there was like no instructions on the official guides on how to apply or what to do with these stickers. I'd put them on and they looked fine, but they're not entirely opaque. So the kickstand color still pierced through and it doesn't look great. So I took it off. I think it looks way better this way though. What do you think? Anyways, I wanted to elevate her Switch 2 just a bit So I printed out these pink and white Zelda swatches since she really loves Zelda. And look, super unique look. But I also wanted to match her dock since black just stands out on her setup. So I 3D printed this super cute front plate for her dock to match with her Switch, and it looks so nice together. I'll link all of these in the description, don't worry. Now this P2S model takes almost every feature from the older P1S printer and gives them a huge upgrade. It comes with a really nice color touchscreen now that makes it way easier to use, a much nicer 1080p camera so you can monitor your prints, and with the new AMS2 Pro, the new motor is 60% faster so you can print in multicolor to get these really cool high quality designs much faster now. I actually made a blue and white one for myself. I think it looks really nice. Oh, and because I know not everyone will be confident enough to take apart these shells to change the color, yes, people have made 3D printed covers that you can just snap onto your Switch too, and while not as seamless as a custom install, they still look really nice. And the best part is you can print these at home. Yeah, a lot of people have been making 3D printed designs for the Switch 2, and there's never been a better time to get into 3D printing. We have a really great sale coming up, so check the link in the description if you want to check out the new P2S, and thanks again to Bamboo Lab for sponsoring the channel so we can keep making cool videos like this. Now onto the Joy-Cons. This is where most people get tripped up, but don't worry, because of the way these are designed, there's actually a really easy way to customize these without having to completely take them apart. So these side rails are actually only held in with a little pad of double-sided tape, which means they're super easy to swap out with whatever color you want. In fact, Extreme Rate planned for this since they sell these parts just by themselves. God, I really should have tried the red and blue ones. Dang it. Oh well. So you can do a solid color like white, or a translucent color too. I love how this green color looks, honestly. And this takes like 60 seconds to install. But we're not stopping here, of course, so let's keep going. A single Phillips screw and 3 tri-point screws hold this whole thing together. From here, you just pull up and fold it open like a book. But be careful, the vibration motor is still attached. All right, first thing in our way is the triggers. I don't know if it's because I've done this a billion times now, but this was way easier to remove than the Switch 1 triggers. Those sucked. Cool. Now to remove the midframe. This one had some hidden screws, funny enough. Wait. Where did it go? Okay, we'll deal with that later. Now this ribbon here is a pain to plug back in, so I always just end up keeping it plugged in anyways. Don't bother trying to take this out. And let's plug in the battery too. Now we just unscrew and unplug everything that's holding in the motherboard. Despite this still being really convoluted, don't get me wrong, this is still surprisingly much easier than the original Switch Joy-Cons. Now I was super curious when these things came out, why no one has looked into changing that middle color on the joystick. Like, is everyone just scared of disassembling it or something? And I finally have the answer as to why no one has fixed these issues yet. Let me show you. So the little blue component here is just held in with plastic clips, and I thought, okay, great, I'll just remove them then. I see the problem. Yeah, it seems like there's no way to remove these without straight up destroying the joystick. They're just stuck in there. I feel like this won't be an issue when companies start making replacement joysticks, but for now, there's no way to really remove these. Okay, update. Literally like 2 days before I recorded this part, a shop called Switch Buttons released some custom rings that you can install on here. Now they do have a tutorial on how to install these, and sure enough, yeah, you do kind of have to break them to put them on.
And you will be rewarded with the smallest spring ever that, please don't lose this, and then this half. So
it looks really rough, but the guy did a great job showing off how to install them. I might try this down the line, but I'd be scared I wouldn't be able to properly align these joysticks back in. But there are options further now. It does look a bit risky though, I don't know. Let me know if you tried this out yourself. Now for how little we're actually gonna see this part of the Joy-Con, I'm mad at how complex replacing the rail is. It is so intricate. Now I know we said retro green, but I think the white will be a lot easier to work on so you can see everything. Don't worry, I think they'll still come out great. Did they include buttons? Oh, okay, they did. They didn't include buttons, yeah. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I didn't want the blue buttons there. Do other kits have buttons? Hold on. Okay, they do, but it seems like the translucent packs get like these really metallic ass like type buttons. I mean, these are really nice still. Oh, yeah, look, see the pink ones, they also get little pink buttons too. That's really cute. Oh, that's nice. 4 screws hold everything in, and be careful because there is a spring here. Oh, where did that go? Oh my god, a button just went flying. Jesus. Oh man, that's not good. Well, you know what, we're replacing it anyways, that's fine. So what I'm noticing here is the button isn't actually a contact, it just pushes these springs in, and then when the spring goes in deep enough, it hits the button, so it'll go like, doosh, 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 doosh. That's so funny. Okay, wow. And then here you got your little LED lights. And then you got your little mouse sensor, I think. How interesting. Look at that. Yeah, look, these buttons are also like straight metal, like aluminum or something. I don't know. This is definitely designed to brace for the wear and tear of slamming into the rails. What is this? Oh, right. This is the place that actually like hooks up to the controller. Okay, really interesting. So now we got to prepare the new rail with the diffuser for the LEDs and these rubber gasket things so they're not rubbing around inside. Now these were a pain to get in. These are such small parts. It took me like 20 minutes just for this part. You know what? I was telling myself, I think I'm ready to take on a micro soldering project this year. I am not ready for a micro soldering project. I'm struggling with just the tiniest bare thing. Oh my God. This will take some patience. I'm making this look easy, I promise. Okay. Cool. Make sure yours looks like this. Here, look. Listen to this. Yeah, they're like metal. Okay, so just match them up like this. That makes sense. It's this one. Cool. Okay, it's this one. Okay, we can do that. That's not a problem. That's easy. We can do that. Aha! It does come with a white one. Cool. Okay, let's do that. Okay, cool. That's it. Nice. Okay, now we can put in the ribbons. Okay, I figured out what that thing that just flew off was earlier. It was a spring that was supposed to be attached to this part that actually lets it have the little area there, release and attach. Good news, they come with their own springs, so in case you lose one, you still have it here. That's okay, you're still good. That. Yeah, come on. There you go. Yeah, okay. Simple enough. There's a little rail here. Needs a little foam pad here, so let's see where that is. You know what? I'm just gonna reuse the one that came with the old controller. Yep, easy. All right. Don't want to mess this up. Okay, this part's done. Finally. Okay, on to the next part, which was, actually moving the whole motherboard over. Oh God, okay. This is honestly my favorite part of the swap. It's where you can really start to see your Joy-Con start to come together. All right, we're done. Thanks for watching. Oh, right, we have to put in the... Okay, well, we have to put in the joystick. I forgot about that. Oh, for reference, if you're doing this, you don't have to take this part out. You can leave it attached to make your life a lot easier. I was just nosy, and I wanted to see how it worked. Yeah, that fits much better. Look at that. Crap, I totally lost a screw. Okay, no worries, you're good. Because we have extra screws. They give us extra screws. Now to figure out which one went where exactly. It's probably going to be this one. Fingers crossed here. Oh, thank God. Okay. I'd say reattaching these ribbons are the only dangerous parts I'd be super slow with. You don't want to mess this part up. Now we screw the motherboard back in, and while testing the buttons, I noticed a very familiar issue that I recognized from the Switch 1 days. Ooh. Okay, I know what happened here. So this part is really hard to press in. I remember dealing with this on the original Switch Joy-Cons. All that means is this screw right here is a little bit too tight. That's usually how it goes. So I'm gonna turn that like half a screw. Turn this one just a little bit too. Okay. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. See, I remember that from the old Switch. Okay, so let's talk about the mid-frames here. Some parts will come with its own little custom mid-frame that I've seen. Honestly, this is entirely optional. I don't think you have to do this. I mean, honestly, if you really want to have it, you could. But the reason I wouldn't recommend it is just because this is the old one. And as you can tell, the battery is adhered to the mid-frame part, which means you kind of have to like pry and jam and kind of wiggle and bend this battery a little bit in order to get it out. And it doesn't look fun. Honestly, I can just live with the black mid-frame. Honestly, it's not a problem. I mean, even in the tutorial video, the dude is like struggling with it. Even his hands are getting red in the video. Like, oh hell no, I'm good. I don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna be using the old mid-frame. Makes it way easier for this whole process, honestly. But yeah, I would skip this part. This is hard. It is really satisfying putting everything back together. And surprisingly, these shells do not feel cheap. To be honest, it's kind of why I always pick up these over any other ones. It's not clicking. Why isn't it clicking? Okay, I got it. For some reason, the button isn't staying flush for some reason. And it's causing the whole thing to kind of be out of whack. So I'm gonna try. Okay, now it's sitting flush. I don't know why it wasn't sitting flush before, but yeah, I just needed to click it in. Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah, dude. Yeah, that's way better. Okay. Okay, this clip did include it for some reason, but you gotta remember that you still need to make the little button, little button to actually, make it switch, and well, it doesn't switch anymore, I guess technically. You know what I mean? There's a way you're supposed to set it up. So if you have one of these, come on. The little sticky thing right here, there's like a bunch of them that comes in the kit. All you have to do is just take this, stick it through the, okay. That's why they give you extras. Take this, stick it through the hole, and you kind of just slice it up in there. There you go. See, now it just lives like that forever. So when you close it up, it just, sticks out like that. Dang, they got me, bro. I kind of like that. I won't lie. Anyways, that's how it's supposed to go in. Just toss it in there. Bam, you're good to go. Unless I'm missing something, I think we're just about done. I think we just need to plug in the battery and then the vibration motor, and then we're set. Oh right, yeah, you gotta take this thing off. Okay, let's just be really gentle with this. Okay, that wasn't that bad. And there you go. And exactly the same. Got a few stuff here. This is a really delicate cable. Oh my god. Is the battery on? The battery is on. Wonderful. Okay, cool. That's plugged in. And the vibration motor. You know what? I probably should have plugged this in first and then attached it. I'm going to do that now. Good. All right. Next. I want to show how delicate these cables are real quick. Hold on. Because look at this. Okay, I don't know if you could see that. There is nothing protecting these wires from accidentally being torn off or anything like that. It's just soldered in, and that's it. If you accidentally mess these up, too bad. Hope you know how to use a soldering iron. Are they gonna start closing it up? Yeah. All right. A few more screws, and we're done. All right. Not bad. Okay, wait. So I realized that this part is actually a little bit like loose, and I don't like that. Turns out I did it wrong. All right. So they give you these stickers that you're actually supposed to put on this thing, so that way it actually looks like it actually sticks and doesn't wiggle around and stuff. So let's do that next. This part doesn't have to be perfect since no one is going to see it once you close it up. Okay. Yeah. Way better now. Oh, right. The feet. I think it'd be easier if we actually put them on the... Yeah, let's just do that. Yeah, like I said, the Switch 2 Joy-Cons are way easier than the Switch 1 Joy-Cons, but there are so many little tiny processes like this that you have to deal with. Oh my god, it looks like a Switch OLED. That's funny. Which means way more chances of something going wrong. All right, time to check the inputs. Not bad. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay, now we're done. I think it looks really nice. Like, come on. Who do you know that has a white Switch 2? Okay, on to the next Joy-Con. I'm going to try a translucent one next because I'm really curious how these look, especially the mid-frame part. Now, I'm going to go pretty fast on this one only because, unlike the original Joy-Cons, where both the left and the right had completely different layouts, these Joy-Cons are exactly identical on the inside. They're just mirrored, so it's exactly the same process. There's nothing new here. By the way, I know I might be shaking a little bit in this footage. I'm really sorry about that. I'm on this new medication that makes me a little bit shaky, and honestly, I'm just getting a little bit older. I don't know. I love doing little tiny intricate mods like this on my devices, but a part of me is a little worried I might not have the precision to do this in a few years. Ah well. I think I'm just gonna try the buttons to see if I like them, but I usually don't end up liking the look of them. Who knows? We'll see. Already, I don't know. Okay, we'll just try. Let's try. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's really hard to see these, I think. Like maybe if I shine them in the right, just right, you can kind of see what the buttons are, but yeah. Oh, let's try the black buttons, see what happens. Okay, yeah, much better in my opinion. I don't know, I really like the contrast of the black buttons. I think that's way nicer. I'm gonna keep these. Look, there's a little water indicator. Huh, nice. Okay, what are we thinking for this button port? Do we do the regular black or the transparent one? I think it might give it a nice contrast if we try the black one. I don't know. Well, let's see. Let's find out. Okay, interesting. Let's try the black button. Ooh, that does look kind of clean. Okay. I know some people are gonna hate me for this. Some people are probably preferring this one. There's somebody in the comments being like, "Oh man, you should have picked the green one or something." But I really like the color. I really like the matching color of this. I think I'm gonna stick with this one. Okay, we're sticking with that one. Cool. Okay, last part. Just removing the vibrator. Okay, not bad. Maybe? Okay. Yeah, I think that's a little bit too much, honestly. I don't. Okay, this is cool. Check this out. Because of the way that the rails are engineered, you can actually see when the button's being pressed in there. That's so cool. Look at that. Do you see that? That's so crazy. Look at that. All right, we're cooking. Nice. Oh man, you know what? Right there, if you can barely see it, but right there is the only indicator that you didn't swap out the mid-frame. I don't think it's worth all that effort, honestly, to swap out the mid-frame. Just keep the old mid-frame as it is and just replace it. Honestly, that's way better. Oh right, the feet. You gotta do the feet. All right, all done. This cyan came out really nice. I love how this came out. So we got the backplate done and both Joy-Cons done at this point. See, most people won't care about this, but there's still one more thing that needs to be done. See, when pairing up the Joy-Cons to the Switch, they'll still obviously show up as the original black and red and blue colors. Yeah, no matter how much you change the outside, underneath it's still you on the inside. Now it's at this point that we would use a Windows app called Joy-Con Toolkit to manually change the software colors of the Joy-Cons to whatever we want. And in theory, it should just work with the Switch 2 Joy-Cons. But there's a problem that I ran into. Yeah, for whatever reason, I could not get this to pair to my computer. No matter what, they just wouldn't show up. I thought, maybe the Switch 2 stuff needs some drivers or something first to get that to show up. So I plugged in my Switch 2 Pro controller and no, that seems to work just fine. So turns out Nintendo changed the way that these Joy-Cons communicate with other devices. And unfortunately, you just can't pair these to Windows right now. Now, I did find an app that lets you still use the Joy-Cons as a controller by emulating a standard input controller, but that doesn't solve our problem here. We're trying to read and write to the Joy-Cons SPI flash, and we still don't have access to them this way. So unfortunately for now, these guys will still be red and blue on the software side, at least at the time of recording this video. Hopefully a new solution comes out for this soon. But I still think these look really nice, and since Nintendo doesn't seem to have any plans to release any special editions for a while, this is still the best way to make your Switch 2 look super unique. I don't think I have any other Switch 2 videos for you to watch, but I did jailbreak a calculator recently. Yeah, it turns out Big Calculator is really tightening up on restrictions and has been actively removing features from their calcs. Calcs is short for calculator, by the way, if you're just coming into the streams. Click over here to check it out, and thanks for watching.